Okay, so I'm here with Lizzy Carroll. Lizzy, great to see you. I know you're a town
Thanks,
meeting
Brian.
member. I also know you're chair of the Milton School Committee, and you're also a parent, young children. And so I think a couple of elementary school children.
That's right. Yep.
Terrific. And so I'm sure you have a really interesting perspective, but tell me, why are you voting yes on February 13th?
I'm voting yes on February 13th because it's just definitely the right thing to do for our schools. We can't afford to lose out on state funding, which will happen if we don't vote yes. So that's the main reason that I'm voting yes. I've heard some people ask the question, well, what about the overcrowding in our schools? And that is a serious concern. And that's a valid question. But while we know multifamily housing will bring new children to our district, studies have shown and predicted that those numbers are numbers that we can accommodate. We can easily accommodate those new students in our schools across 13 grades, especially because we know that the zoning will only be built out gradually over many, many years.
Terrific, and I think that's a valuable perspective, and certainly being on the school committee, you'd be a lot more focused than the average person on that. So are there any other areas of concern that you might have or that you see that this is a benefit to related to the schools?
In terms of just participating in the problem solving for our region around the need for housing, the need for affordable housing, one of my values in serving on school committee is to make Milton Public Schools a welcoming, inclusive community. And so that is another reason why I think it's important to vote yes. It's important to welcome the students who come to our doors in Milton Public Schools, however they got here.
Well, I'd like to add too, Lizzy, having someone that served on the school committee many years ago, it's great to see people like you dedicating all that time and effort and helping keep Milton Public Schools the quality system it is. So thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
So we're here with Sean O'Rourke. Sean, as a neighbor of mine, I certainly know you, and as your role as chair of the school building committee, we've had the opportunity to talk several times. I'm on a building committee myself. You're also a town meeting member and a parent of one child, and so you have an interesting perspective. You live in Precinct 8, which is East Milton. It's not hard east, but it's East Milton. So. So tell me, Sean, why are you going to vote yes on February 13th?
The main reason I'm voting yes is, the school building project that we have coming up. There's essentially state funding that's associated with that, and my concern is a no vote on that might jeopardize that.
Interesting point. And so, obviously, that would be really serious because the state funding is pretty significant for a school building project, and so you feel that that's potentially in jeopardy.
Yeah, I do. I mean, the amount of money that we're talking about for the school building project from the state, if we got it, is on the order of magnitude of $20 to $30 million.
Wow.
So, with that, a no vote or non-compliance with state law doesn't preclude us from applying for that grant. Through the Mass School Building Authority, but my concern is the negative light it will put the town in when they're reviewing that application. So other towns that are compliant that may apply may have a better shot at getting that funding than what we do. So seeing that, that's one of the reasons. I mean, the other reason too is the entire MBTA Communities Act. Initially, I was against it. I was one of the people that I was concerned with the impacts on the schools and everything else. But as I paid attention, came around, educated myself on the entire project of what it means, I kind of came around on it, and now I'm in favor of it.
Well, that's terrific. Yeah, I think when you see a lot of the discussion out there, it isn't necessarily intuitive or obvious that some serious funding could be lost with that no vote. So appreciate you sharing that with us. Certainly, those in town, and it's got to be the majority of town, that are really interested in working on this overcrowding in the schools by building a new building should pay real attention to that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Sean. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Okay, so we're here with Beverly Ross-Denny. Beverly, I know a lot of people know you from various things you've been involved in. I know you're a town meeting member. You're certainly a current member of our school committee. And what I find really interesting is you've been involved in site councils in the past, but not just one. You've been Glover, Tucker, and the Pierce site council. So you certainly have a good perspective to share. So why are you voting yes on February 13th?
It's because I love our schools and I love our town. You know, Milton is in a situation financially where we are heavily dependent on funds, especially from the state. And we can't afford to jeopardize those funds for that ultimately will impact what happens years beyond this school year. It's not worth the gamble.
Well, that's a great perspective. Any other thoughts on why you would strongly recommend people to vote yes?
You know, in addition to just following the law, it's important to create a community where we are equally contributing to benefiting the state as well as our town. And if we can responsibly add more housing, that means our police officers, our teachers, our firemen, fire personnel will all have an opportunity to live in Milton because we've increased our capacity to serve our community. I just think it's just important for all of us.
Well, that's a terrific perspective, and thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you.